$6.9 billion. That's how much money was lost last year in the US alone due to cyber attacks. That's not just corporate money, that's your money as well. Cybersecurity literacy is a challenge for everybody. Unless you're in cybersecurity or you're close to somebody in the space or you like to kind of follow along with cybersecurity topics, a lot of it can be fairly opaque and confusing. And that can make it very scary. That's why there's a lot of fear-mongering around cybersecurity. But that said, it does not have to be that way. Cybersecurity can be cool. I mean, I think it's cool. It can be trendy, and in some ways, parts of it is trendy. And it can be simple, and I think that that's something that really, as an industry, we have struggled with through the past. This shortfall has not only led to $6.9 billion being lost every year due to cyber attacks just in the US, but it's created a massive talent gap in the industry, whether it's due to a lack of people capable of getting a job or a lack of companies understanding what is realistic when hiring people for a job. Some estimations have said that there are up to 2 million empty cybersecurity positions worldwide that need to be filled. And that's a problem. And it's not for lack of trying. There are plenty of incredibly talented and passionate individuals that want those jobs and want to be in the industry to help. And to help push those people along and at the same time generally raise the standard of cyber literacy for your everyday people. There are a lot of excellent content creators on YouTube, for example, that are trying to post excellent content to help. People like John Hammond, Gerald Auger, Hackersploit, Conda, and so many more. That said, to digest this content, you really have to have a pretty fundamental understanding of cybersecurity because a lot of what they get into is fairly intermediate to advanced. This is something that I was really thinking about throughout the summer of 2020, whenever ultimately on August 7th, I started this YouTube channel, and now it is 2 years old, and I've been on YouTube for 2 years making content. I haven't missed an upload. I've uploaded at least once a week, every single week this entire time. I've built a library of over 300 videos on YouTube, and I've learned a lot, not just about cybersecurity, but about YouTube as well as myself. Overall, the idea is fairly simple, and it is to make cybersecurity simple. However, it does go beyond simplicity. I want to make cybersecurity something that's fun and trendy, something that doesn't make people's eyes glaze over, but instead gets people excited. And maybe, just maybe, we can lead to positive change in the industry. Think about how finance, for example, went from being something kind of complicated and confusing to something desirable on YouTube. You have people like Graham Stephan who really digest these concepts and topics, explain it, and then make it fun, and that really increases overall financial literacy for his pretty large audience. And hopefully that's led to financial freedom for a lot of people. Cybersecurity desperately needs something like this. And while I'm no Graham Stephan, I can certainly try. So back to whenever I started my channel, I started with Security Plus content. Of course, I'd already taken the Security Plus, so I wanted to make videos going over a lot of the fundamentals covered in the CompTIA Security Plus, and I think that it is a great starting place for people interested in a career in cybersecurity. So in addition to building out a playlist study guide for the Security Plus, I also created a number of miscellaneous content, and they were far from perfect. In fact, a lot of those were just downright bad videos. But over time, I learned how to make better and better videos, and hopefully that has translated to a better experience for you. Fast forward to today, and I've been able to grow my audience to over 4,000 subscribers after 2 years, and hopefully each and every one of you finds value in this content. Again, I've published over 300 videos to this channel. That's a ton. That's everything from Security Plus to Try Hack Me walkthroughs to cybersecurity news to interviews to other kinds of miscellaneous cybersecurity videos. So let's go over a few things that I've learned, not just about myself, but also about YouTube, and really kind of unpack those things. The first lesson that I learned is that you can go into something for the right reasons, but quickly get distracted by the wrong things. And I want to preface this by saying that if you go into something with the wrong intentions, then your momentum will quickly die. So I think for something like YouTube, for example, if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel or doing something that is long and complex and is more of a marathon, then go into it for the right reasons. things. I'm not only wanting to help people get into the industry as a whole, but I'm wanting to increase the general cybersecurity literacy amongst your everyday people. That said, YouTube is pretty hard, and I'm very much somebody that enjoys consuming the data that YouTube provides for creators to try to get better at making videos. And that takes me to YouTube Studio, which if you have a channel, listen up. And if you don't have a channel, basically YouTube Studio is where you can get all of your analytics all in one place. And it can be fairly overwhelming. There's a lot of data presented to you. YouTube Studio can be a great place with tons of valuable insights that can better you and your channel. It can also be a place that is incredibly distracting, presents a lot of data that isn't really appropriate or necessary to consume, and can really get you looking at just too small a picture and kind of focusing on the wrong things. I've spent a lot of time over the past 2 years getting all in my feelings over the numbers. After all, I put a lot of time and effort into these videos, and so it kind of stinks to see, them not get those flashy, sexy numbers, right? But again, if I'm focusing on the reason that I'm actually doing this, then it doesn't matter what the stats show. I'm trying to help people, and if 3 people watch this video and 3 people get value from it, then that's an overall success. As far as the stats go, that would actually really sting. But again, we got to focus on the mission and not the metrics. Of course, it's totally natural and it is okay to look at the statistics. Again, that can give you valuable insights to better your craft. However, remember that you can't control the number of views. You can't control how the audience reacts. You can only control how you react and the content that you're producing, and really the reason why you're producing that content. I try to make my videos of good value and of good quality that provide a good value to you. That said, I can't really control what happens after I hit the publish button. So really, one of the lessons that I've had to learn is how to appropriately react to publishing a video and it not meeting necessarily the metrics expectations that I might have had for it, and then just moving on and making another good video that can help people. And all of that about statistics being said, I do want to say that there is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to grow your channel. If you don't necessarily have a YouTube channel and you're watching this and you might think, then I totally understand if you're thinking, don't worry about growing, focus on the value. But again, if the goal is to improve cybersecurity literacy, then to a degree you really have to keep growing the channel, because you want to make sure that new audiences that haven't been previously introduced to the cybersecurity content are being introduced to these concepts and their literacy is improving. So growth very much fits into the mission. However, that being said, it's part of the mission. It's not the entire mission. And it can be very counterproductive to get too bogged down in the statistics and not bogged down in creating good content and just focusing on video creation and providing value in those videos. The second thing that I've learned is focusing on the marathon and not the sprint. And I think that this is a general tip, not just for people on YouTube, but also especially for people going into cybersecurity. None of this is easy. There are a lot of snake oil salesmen, both on YouTube and in cybersecurity, that will sell you a lie for a quick dollar. And they will use everything from shortcuts to quick tricks to try to trick you into thinking that you're making progress, when in fact there are no fundamental changes being made to improve the viability of either your understanding of cybersecurity, if you're trying to get into cybersecurity, or your YouTube channel, if that's what you're working on. All that being said, those scams not only don't work, they violate the integrity of either you as a person or the product that you're trying to produce. You cannot take shortcuts, and you should not try to compromise on what you're doing. That can lead to longer term harm. Instead, focus on mastering the fundamentals. And again, this is what I really focus on with this channel with cybersecurity, is the fundamentals of cybersecurity. A lot of people will jump head first into more of the advanced stuff without grasping the fundamentals, and then they'll get really frustrated whenever they meet somebody that is expecting them to have a strong fundamental grasp on cybersecurity, and they can't really maintain the same conversation. They can have a great technical conversation, but they don't know anything about cybersecurity. The same thing happens with YouTube. And this can be an incredibly difficult thing to kind of just continue the marathon with, especially whenever you see somebody focusing on the sprint and they race past you, even though you can't really discern how it is that they're able to sustain that sprint. But here's the thing. They might have done a lot of work on the back end. In this marathon analogy, they might have done a lot of training prior to this marathon on speed, and they might actually just be a very fast marathon runner. They also might just not be smart. They might be trying to sprint the portion of the marathon, and then you're going to pass them later on and see them just panting on the side of the road. In either case, none of that matters. What does matter is how you handle the marathon. Other people's momentum doesn't impact your momentum. And this has been incredibly challenging, especially for me with YouTube, but I've seen a lot of people also struggling with this with cybersecurity. And I've also struggled with this in cybersecurity as well in my career. It's so easy, especially on social media, to compare yourself to people that are leaps and bounds ahead of you in their career, even though they also have way more experience than you. They have way more time in the industry than you. They have, qualities that they bring to the table that you don't, that they learned over time. And so that's just one of those things that, it can be kind of discouraging to see how far behind you feel, but it doesn't matter. You control your momentum. The third thing that I've learned on YouTube is that making educational content that is good is really hard. I have learned a ton about what makes a good video. However, I think this is just me. One of my biggest weaknesses is making a video entertaining. I've definitely tried to work on making videos more engaging. However, as far as infotainment or edutainment, that's something that I've really struggled with. It's not necessarily something that I focused on, but it is something that I want to focus on here in the near future. Frankly, I need to do a better job at this. Whether it is a complete overhaul of how I write scripts. So instead of just spitting out raw data like I did in a lot of my older videos, it's instead me telling a story and demonstrating the practicality or reality of what I'm teaching. Again, this is something that I do plan to be working on, so definitely hit that subscribe button to kind of follow along with this progress. And if you have any advice on storytelling, definitely leave a comment below. So with those lessons being learned and with 2 years under my belt, what does the future hold for this channel? Frankly, I have no clue. I would absolutely love to make this channel my full-time job and continue to make a ton of content and really kind of explore what that would look like. Simply put, I've fallen in love with YouTube and creating this kind of content and creating other kinds of content like with my personal channel and the podcast, and I want to do that, but a lot more, even outside of just cybersecurity content. Again, I've tried dabbling with my own channel, creating non-cybersecurity content, but time is a major constraint, and unfortunately YouTube doesn't pay the bills right now. So, maybe that's something I can do later in the future, but as of right now, not really. Instead, for right now, my goal is to make StudioSec better, make better content for this channel, teach cybersecurity better, and hopefully reach, again, newer audiences and improving the overall level of cyber literacy. And I plan to do that by getting better at storytelling, but also in making videos a bit more engaging and entertaining in general. Then maybe, just maybe, this channel can play a part in helping make the future a bit more secure and decreasing that $6.9 billion annual cost in the US for cyber attacks and really bring that number down. Maybe this will help inspire people to get into cybersecurity as a career. Maybe this will help people catch hackers and prevent cyber attacks. Maybe this channel will crash and burn and I will get roasted in the comments. In either case, you should subscribe because you should just kind of see what happens. It's always fun to follow along. And be sure to leave a like for this video as it helps it reach new audiences. And if you want to watch another video of mine that I am fairly proud of, check out this video about Anonymous, going into their origins and their story. I feel pretty proud about that one and the storytelling in that video. Anyway, I'll see you all next time.